So in the first part, we saw that Ranga was the one. Narrator talks about Ranga's marriage, justification of the title. Then he talks about his village, and then he talks about that particular point when Ranga was the first one from the village to go to Bangalore. He came. It was a great excitement for everyone. And then narrator tried to find out from Ranga whether he wanted to marry, and then he came to know about the views of Ranga, and he was really disappointed that the boy had decided not to marry. And then he had uh, thought that he would somehow get Ranga married. And now narrator started making up his plan. Ramarao's niece, a pretty girl of 11, had come to stay with him. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and harmonium. She also had sweet voice. Both her parents had died, and her uncle had brought her home. Ranga was just the boy for her, and she the most suitable bride for him. So narrator felt that Ramarao's niece was the perfect match for Ranga. Since I was a frequent visitor to Ramarao's place, the girl was quite free with me. I completely forgot to mention her name, Ratna. So the girl's name was Ratna. Very next morning, now the narrator was working upon his plan. The very next morning, I went to their house and told Ramarao's wife, I'll send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. Ratna came. It was a Friday, so she was wearing a grand sari. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song. I sent for Ranga. Now look at the way narrator is planning the whole thing. He called Ratna on the pretext of giving some buttermilk, and when she came, he asked her to sing a song. And meanwhile, he sent for Ranga. While she was singing the song Krishnamurti in front of my eyes, Ranga reached the door. He stopped at the threshold. Threshold is just the entry point. He did not want the singing to stop, but was curious to see the singer. The voice was very melodious. It was a very soothing voice. It could he could hear it outside, and he did not. He also wanted to hear the song as well as not to disturb the singer, and his curiosity was rising. So he carefully peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. Ratna looked up and seeing a stranger there, abruptly stopped. She felt shy, looking at a. Now, narrator describes this scene very humorously. There was disappointment writ on the face of Ranga. He wanted to hear the song as well as he wanted to see the singer, but as soon as he entered, the singing stopped. Now, narrator describes this scene as suppose you buy the best quality mango. You eat it slowly, savoring its peel before biting into the juicy flesh. You do not want to waste any part of it. Before you take another bite, the fruit slips out of your hand and falls to the ground. How do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. I'll just explain this particular scene with another example. Now, most of you uh, love to eat ice creams, and you have your own flavor. So when you go to the shop, ice cream parlor, you order for a cup and you receive that cup with that wooden spoon. So you remove the lid. Just imagine, just try to visualize what I'm trying to say, the scene. You just take up the lid. You don't throw the lid straight away, but you just put it on your tongue, licking that small bit of ice cream which is stuck to that lid, enjoying every single bit, every single taste of it. And then, with that wooden spoon, you take one scoop of the ice cream in your mouth. You let the ice cream melt slowly, savoring its taste, and suddenly someone passes by you. Your elbow is struck, and that cup that you are holding just goes out of your hand and falls into dust. Now, what is your reaction? You are looking at that ice cream which has fallen on the ground, as well as you are looking at the person who was the culprit. You can't do anything. There's that disappointment. So same sort of disappointment was on the face of Ranga. He came inside, he sat on the chair, inquired narrator that you sent for me. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met and he looked very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long time. It was my coming in that stopped the singing, let me leave. So finally Ranga said that he was the reason behind the stopping of the singing, so he should leave. But he was saying that he wanted to leave. But the narrator says, words, mere words. The fellow said he would leave but did not make a move. How can one expect words to match actions in days of Kali Yuga? Ratna ran inside, overcome by sight. After a while, Ranga inquired about the girl. Who is that girl, Swami? Now, here, narrator was in the commanding position, and he shows his commanding position by an anecdote. A lion entered the temple, and he wanted to know who was inside. There was a he-goat who had taken shelter in the temple. Now the he-goat knew that if it would come out, it would reveal its identity, he would die. So from inside, that he-goat said, does it matter who I am? I am a poor animal who has already eaten 9 lions. I have vowed to eat one more. Tell me, are you male or female? The lion fled in place in fear, it seems. So similar position now narrator is enjoying. So when Ranga inquired, who is that girl, Swami? So like the he-goat, he said, oh, what does it matter to either of us who she is? I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. I am already married, so why should I know about that girl? And you don't want to marry, so why should you know about the girl? Now this word marry, marriage, has been intentionally put by the narrator. Very hopefully he asked, she isn't married then? His voice did not betray his excitement, but I knew it was there. He could see that excitement in the voice of Ranga. Narrator immediately said, she was married a year ago. Now look at the reaction of Ranga. His face shriveled like a roasted brinjal. Uh, After a while, Ranga left saying, I must go, I have work at home. Next day, continuing with his plan, narrator went to Shastri, the astrologer, and told him to keep everything ready to read stars. He tutored him all that he wanted him to say. In the afternoon, when he met Ranga, he found no change. He asked, what's the matter? You seem to be lost in thought, I said. Nothing is wrong, believe me. Headache? Come, let's go and see a doctor. I have no headache, I am my usual self. I went through the same thing when the process of choosing a girl for me was going on, but I don't think that could be a reason for your present condition. Now look at how cleverly the narrator is pointing out towards his plan. He is diverting Ranga's attention towards marriage and all that. So he says that yes, he was also going through the same condition when the process of choosing a girl for him was being done, but that should not be the case with Ranga. Ranga stared at him, and then narrator suggested that they should go to the Sastri to find out whether Guru and Shani are favorable for him or not. Ranga accompanied me without any protest. As soon as Sastri saw me, he exclaimed, what a surprise, Shyam! Haven't seen you for a long time. Now Shyam is no one else but the narrator himself. In his entire thing, narrator had completely forgotten about his whole plan, and when Sastri said that haven't seen you for a long time, he became angry. Because it was the same morning that he had met Shastri, and so he blurted out, what, only this morning? And he was about to complete his sentence when Shastri interrupted and said, you finished all your work and are now free to visit me. Now if Shastri would not have intervened timely, he would have ruined his plan, just like bursting grains that are kept in the sun to dry. And from that moment he was extremely careful on what he said. Now Shastri was playing his part. He turned to Ranga. When did the young son of our accountant clerk come home? What can I do for him? It is very rarely that he visits us. Take out your paraphernalia. Now paraphernalia is the various things and objects which are related with particular profession. Now if you talk about doctor's paraphernalia, it is stethoscope, the apron and all that. Similarly, the astrologer's paraphernalia is various things through which an astrologer makes a prediction. Our Rangappa seems to have something on his mind. Can you tell us what is worrying him? Shall we put your science of astrology to the test? There was authority in my voice as I spoke to Shastri. He took out 2 sheets of paper, some cauries, and a book of palmyra leaves, saying, "Ours is an ancient science, Ayya. There is a story to it. But I won't tell you that story now. This is not a Harikatha which allows you to tell a story within a story. You may get bored. I will tell it to you some other time." Shastri moved his lips as fast as he counted on his fingers and then asked, "What's your star?" Ranga did not know. "Never mind," Shastri indicated with a shake of his head. He did some more calculation before saying in a serious tone, "It's about a girl." Now, while all this thing was going on, our narrator, he knew every bit of the thing, and he was somehow controlling himself not to burst out laughing. But when the Shastri said that it's about a girl, he burst out laughing and turned to Ranga. "Exactly what I had said. Who is the girl? It was your humble servant who asked the question." Shastri thought for a while before replying. "She probably has the name of something found in the ocean. Something which is found in the ocean." "Kamala?" Shastri said. "Maybe. Could it be Pachi? Moss? Must it be moss if it's not Kamala? Why not pearl or Ratna, the precious stone?" Now look at how narrator comes to the name of the girl. Ratna, the precious stone. Ratna, the girl in Ramara's house is Ratna. Tell me, is there any chance of our negotiations bearing fruit? "Definitely," Shastri said after thinking for some time. There was surprise on Ranga's face and some happiness, and narrator noticed it very clearly. So he could see the happiness on the face of Ranga, and so he played his game. "But that girl is married," I said, and then I turned to him. His face had fallen. "I don't know all that. There may be some other girl who is suitable. I only told you what our Shastra indicated," Shastri said. We left the place. On the way, we passed by Rama Rao's house. Ratna was standing at the door. I went in alone and came out a minute later. "Surprising! This girl isn't married, it seems. Someone told me the other day that she was. What Shastri told us has turned out to be true after all. But, Rangappa, I can't believe that you have been thinking of her. Swear on the name of Madhvacharya and tell me, is it true what Shastri said?" So he came back saying that it was surprising that the girl wasn't married. He was misinformed. And so he inquired Ranga that whether he was thinking of Ratna or someone else. "I do not know whether anyone else could have been direct," Ranga admitted. "There's greater truth in that shastra than we imagine. What he said is absolutely true." Now there was a relief for Ranga, and he very well knew that if he will play drama or something like that, maybe this chance would be also lost. He immediately accepted it, saying that whatever the shastra said was absolutely true. Shastri was at the well when I went there that evening. I said, "Oh, so Shastri Gale, you repeated everything I had taught you without giving any rise to suspicion." What a marvelous Shastri was, a marvelous. Here it is not the Shastra. It is actually he is referring to his excellent acting. And this was not liked by Shastri. "What are you saying?" "What you said to me was what I could have found out myself from the Shastras. Don't forget, I developed on the hints you had given me. Tell me, is this what a decent man says?" So finally, narrator was successful in his plan. Rangappa had come the other day to invite me for dinner. "What's the occasion?" I asked. "It's Shyam's birthday. He's 3. So it was Ranga's son, Shyam's birthday. He was 3 years old, and it was being celebrated, and he had come to invite the narrator. "It's not a nice name, Shyam," I said. "I am like a dark piece of oil cake. Say that I am dark in color, and so that name suits me. But why you have to give that golden child of yours such a name? What a childish couple you are, Ratna and you. I know, it is the English custom of naming the child after someone you like. Your wife is 8 months pregnant now. Who is there to help your mother to cook?" "My sister has come with her." I went there for dinner. Shyam rushed to me. Now this Shyam is son of Ranga. He is moving towards our Shyam, the narrator. When I walked in and put his arms around my legs, I kissed him on his cheek and placed a ring on his tiny little fingers. Allow me to take leave of you, reader. I am always here, ready to serve you. You were not bored, I hope. And so here, narrator completes the story of how he planned the marriage of Ranga with Ratna and how he had conspired to get them both together. And here we come to the end of the story.